Okay, guys, so I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about, I don't know what to call this, but what inspired this is the idea that I was at my storage unit and I was looking through some stuff and I found my old journals. So I'm trying this new thing where I read my old journals and I heal my inner child. And then I have implemented this with some of my clients and I found that it's super effective. But it makes me think about how often when people come to therapy, they don't realize that the things that they're working on are actually being triggered by things that have already been implemented, or like the neural network had already been started when we were like really little. And so, with that being said, it makes me think about like, they talk about like your inner child, and it made me think when you as adults are talking to your children, please be mindful that they have already started like this neural network of, unfortunately, like negative core beliefs, but also positive core beliefs. And so as they age, they continue to pick these things up and they go from there. So one of the things that I thought about was, for example, sometimes like parents will talk to me about how their kids might be feeling depressed, but they're like, oh, I don't understand why they're feeling depressed. It's not like they have real life stressors, or it's not like they have, like they know what worry should actually be, or they like have never been in love. And so, what I always give the example is the idea that when you're younger, you experience things and you're at your maximum. And whether it is a big T trauma, like that we normally think of when we say trauma, we think of like, like domestic violence, sexual assault, or like a flood or an earthquake, like something huge. It can actually be like the little everyday things. And so those little everyday things to them might be a big deal. So when your day is full of a bunch of joy and happiness and you get a nap time and all this other stuff, if you drop your ice cream cone and you take your first leg and that like top of the ice cream cone falls to the bottom, well then there you go. You have what we call a trauma that is because your ice cream is on the ground and that's like the worst thing that's happened. So now you have to work from that. But that's like little. And so I give this as an example though, like the best way to put it is like with either love or with homework assignments. And so when you have a kindergarten and their day is filled with playing, when they go to school for the first time and then they have an assignment that they have to get accomplished, they're extremely overwhelmed because they have to like color their name in, and they're like, I can't believe I have to do this. I don't get to play or I don't get to watch my shows. And then you have an older kid who's like, wow, that's nothing today. I have to, rewrite some sentences and study some spelling words. You don't know what stress is. And then the like fourth grader is like, I have to read 10, 15 pages. I don't know what kids are doing these days. 10, 15 pages in school. And then I have to do A, B, C, and D. And they're super stressed out. And so like, that's nothing to the high school student who has a test the next day after the first day of school. So, or a little quiz. And so, mom who's like working and dad who's working and they're trying to get the home together, they're like, wow, you guys are what are you all complaining about? Because at the end of the day, this is real stress, real life stress. But the reality is that everybody has hit their brim, everybody has hit their peak, and they are experiencing their versions of anxiety, their version of stress, their version of depression, their version of love. And so keep that in mind. And the reason I bring this up to you today is because 2020 has been a year, I'm sure you've heard like this is 2020 good, but the reality is it's been crazy and people are extremely overwhelmed. And some of these problems that people have been experiencing in 2020 have been pulling from the neural networks of childhood. So while to you on the outside, it might look like some difficulty with work, or maybe it just looks like a little difficulty in a relationship, but maybe it's like your bigger life stressors, like a lost job, or maybe it's like a relocation or difficulty paying your home mortgage, whatever it is. I always encourage people, don't necessarily go tit for tat in terms of like, yes, having a difficulty at work might be here, and then losing your job, because when you have difficulty at work, at least you have a job to be thankful for, right? That's not necessarily the case when we lose our jobs. So while yes, you lost your job, I always say you don't know what the other persons in your network can handle. And so even though they're different and one might be more than the other, you actually could be experiencing the same distress, depression, anxiety. I know that's like kind of like, wait, let's back this up. So like that can happen in other areas. And so I just want to make this video, I guess, to be mindful, not only of yourself, because are you judging yourself? Are you actually judging yourself on what your expectations should have been or should be by now, compared to your peers? Or are you someone who's like, well, I don't understand why so-and-so is so stressed out because they don't have X, Y, and Z. So I guess this is just like, a kind reminder, what's that basic rule? Like, treat others nicely because you don't know what they're going through. But the other part of this is I was going to share with you maybe a video or a clip or a snippet of my personal diary to explain this to you, because, back in the day, your girl was in love in 6th grade, and I remember saying to my sister, Ami, do you know what love is? Or I think I'm in love. And she was like, you don't know what love is. And I was like, you're like, don't worry about it. And you know what? She's right. I didn't know what love is, but at the time, you couldn't have told me anything. And then you see that with every single partner, or as I call them, like little lesson partners along the way, have taught me something extremely important about who I need to be, and then they prepare me for the next person. But in addition to that, each time, it's like, oh God, I thought I really liked him, but now I really like this guy because I like hit a different or a new capacity of emotion or relationship, or just like comfort. So I think that's something to think about, like where are our peaks, or what have we learned, or what could we be getting from a situation. So I might, it's a little embarrassing, I might share that with you at the end of this, I guess. So if you listen to the whole thing, you could maybe listen to the end of that. But if I don't know, it's because, man, this stuff is embarrassing. But with it being so close to the holiday, I don't know if you're going to see this before Thanksgiving or after, because I actually have a video that needs to go before this. I just want to remind you to reach for gratitude. Reaching for gratitude is the easiest way to change your vibration or your frequency. And why this is so important, especially in what I'm talking about, is the idea of when we lack, or we're comparing, or we don't have, remember the moment where we were in situations where we didn't even realize that we had something to be thankful for. So an example of this, again, would be like, perhaps you lost your job, but remember at one time it wasn't perfect, but you were grateful to have it. Or maybe your car isn't working, and not your car isn't working, you have a car and you're like, ugh, I wish I could replace it, or I wish I could have a better one. There was a time probably where you wish that you could have had a new car. So that is another like example of this is another example of a moment in your life that you can reach for gratitude. So that happens in like every ways. It's not just like these big things. You know, reaching for gratitude, like right now we might not be able to be meeting our family or our friends for the holiday, but something to be thankful for is the ability to have good health, or the ability to know that your family members are safe, whether they're near or far. Maybe the gratitude comes from being able to Zoom them, because you have the ability to be on the internet or things like that and to connect. Being thankful that you have family or friends to even be sad that you're missing out on. So, you know, those are kind of like some ways to being thankful for some of those like harder moments or situations. I also encourage you maybe and take the opportunity to find some new traditions or some fun, like optimistic perspectives of what you can do to fill the time, or to make you feel more connected to those that you are around by starting something new, or a new tradition. So just a little bit of that. I think that's it, really. Just be kind to one another. Reflect on what you're grateful for, and remember that your perspective is your lived experience, and other people, while they experience other things, might be similar to yours, might be greater, might be less than, whatever perspective you want to look like. Just remember that we are all coming from different spaces. So just honor that in yourself and in others. And I think that is it. If you have any questions, you know, you can always call Kani, and have a happy holiday kickoff season.